All right, hello everybody, and welcome to Steel Sanctuary Podcast. I'm your host, Dave Rivero from SteelSanctuary.com, and this is my co-host, David Korup. Dave, what's going on?
What's up, man? What's up?
We are streaming live on YouTube as well. If you want to come check us out on YouTube, that'd be great. Let's get right into it, man. Steelers made some roster moves this week since the last time we talked. They signed Xavier Valladay, Neville Clark, and Lavert Hill, waived John Lovett, Duke Dawson, and Isaiah Dunn. Duke Dawson was a guy that we both thought kind of had a shot making the team as the slot corner.
Yeah, he was doing well in camp. And, I mean, there was rumors he could be either the nickel corner, right, of the dime, I believe.
Yeah,
and
there
was rumors, and it was like, okay, wow. But, there's injury settlements, and they move on. So that's what happens.
Yep. This Valladay kid seems kind of interesting. 9.46 RAS score. Ran a 4.48, and he's not like a smallish, not too small, 5'11", 204. It's not too bad.
Right.
Interesting character. Somebody to keep an eye on, especially in this preseason game, right?
Yes. I mean,
for Anthony McFarland.
Valladay. I guess he burned. I think it was Peterson. He burned him the other day on a one-on-one for like 30 yards and dove and caught a pass from Mitch Trubisky. It was pretty good. I've seen guys say that he's got a little more burst than the rest of the running back group. Like you can actually tell, like with the eye, you can see, man, like he's got an extra year compared to the others. So yeah, absolutely. This guy's another one of those guys, man. He's going to threaten. He could possibly threaten McFarland.
Yeah, we talked about McFarland last week and how, like, since he doesn't give anything on special teams, maybe he's not the kind of lock for the third running back that we all thought he was going to be. I don't know if Valladay plays special teams either. We'll have to probably watch the game, see if he plays any special teams. But it's an interesting name to keep an eye on. One of the more interesting names they've signed.
Yeah, it's definitely something you're going to want to watch. Well, I'll be at the damn game, so I'll be.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll be for sure watching to see, when he's out there to see what he can do. I look forward to being there actually. Right there in the stadium watching it. So, dude, this kid's another one of those, you just don't know. Maybe it could be another diamond in the rough they bring out of nowhere, but, I don't know, man. That'd be crazy to me. But this guy does do special teams. Boy, I'll tell you what, McFarland, he better, again, it's just one of those things where, like, the importance of staying healthy during training camp and these preseason games is like, if you're injured, you're done. If you're a guy off the street, the last thing you can afford to do is get even remotely a little bit injured, because even look at Dawson, like look at him. He was doing really good to the point where you thought this guy's got a shot, right? To actually be a starter. Gets hurt, gone. And that's just the reality of it in the NFL.
John Lovett, that guy that they released, he played.
Right, another one.
Months. They kept him around for a couple of weeks, and it was kind of
dude. If you're not a guy they signed and gave money to, or a guy that they drafted, dude, you better stay healthy. Period.
All right. Speaking of that preseason game, it's going to be against the Buffalo Bills in Pittsburgh. Dave's going to be there, as he said. Some bad memories from the last time we saw the Buffalo Bills play the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh,
Josh Allen. I looked at the stats and I was like, 400 yards, 4 TDs against the Steelers. It was 38-3. Absolute ass whooping that day. No TJ Watt, though, so you got to keep that in the back of your mind. Still early on in the season. Is that Kenny Pickett's second start?
Yeah, it was something like that. It was like his second start.
So it'll be interesting, the first team defense against what the Bills' first team offense. See if they got a little revenge factor going there.
And Tomlin, a.k.a. Pinocchio, claims that everyone's going to play, but I don't know if I'm buying it. We'll see. I'm praying they do, because I would love to go to this game and actually all of those guys actually play. That'd be freaking awesome to go see that.
I think this time he's telling the truth, because usually this preseason game's the one that they prep the season. Right.
The second to last is always their walkthrough. Yeah. The offense, everybody will play, they'll walk through, and then you won't see them at all the last preseason game.
In Tomlin's press conference, he said only 3 players definitely wouldn't play: Larry Ogunjobi, Trey Norwood, and Nate Herbig. Trey Norwood's going to get healthy quick. We talked about this last week. I'm kind of frankly amazed he's still on the team, and he hasn't been one of these cuts too because
we're getting there.
yeah,
He's one of those guys
get
that's becoming pretty expendable. I mean, like you got to remember, dude. They've got tons of guys that can play safety. They got that Kenny Washington at WVU that can play safety, who's emerged and done well in camp. Dude, if he shows out tonight or the next game, right? There's Norwood's gone. Like I just don't see it. The kid has not done anything since his rookie season. Nothing. So
I didn't have high hopes for him coming in. If he was completely healthy all camp, I still didn't think he was going to make it. So the fact that
dude, his rookie season, I was like, holy shit, did they really pull this off? Grabbed another kid, and I think it was 6th, 7th round that could be, somebody they could use. And nope. Yeah. So yeah, no, I think he'll be on the outside looking in, and especially since he's hurt, he can't even get on the damn field. That's the only way you can protect yourself.
Yeah.
So
I was starting to get worried about Larry Ogunjobi. He had the boot on for like a week, but today, I guess, yesterday he had the boot off, so that's good news.
They're going to be real cautious, with him. He's an important part of that D line, and when fully healthy, that guy is a machine out there. He's really good. So they're just, when I saw the boot, automatically I was like, oh dear God, like, it's not the worst.
It was on for more than a day. It was on.
Yeah, right. When you see a boot, man, I mean, that's usually a really bad sign. But I think they're just being real cautious with them. I at least I hope they were, and so sounds like it's nothing. I hope.
Yeah, well, the boot's off now. They haven't signed any defensive linemen, so that's a good sign too.
Right.
Make up his roster spot or anything like that. So hopefully, the other thing out of Tomlin's press conference that I get was there wasn't much to it. I mean, he made a point to say he's looking forward to seeing the first team kick returners play. Calvin Austin and punts and Anthony McFarland kicks. You get the feeling that Anthony McFarland needs to break one. Not all the way to the end zone, but have a nice 20, 25-yard run to justify his roster spot. I don't want to keep coming back to this, but this is the only special team he's going to play. So he's got to be good at it. And I'm kind of rooting for him. I like his speed. I like what he has for the team.
Well, so here's the thing. It's that him and Calvin Austin have the home run hitting speed, right? I mean, those Olszewski doesn't have that. He don't have that, or at least he only did when he played for New England, apparently. So I don't, as long as those two guys, Austin third and McFarland, establish themselves as home run hitters in some fashion, I hope they can do it, and then they both stay there, because I really think that speed is something they got to utilize on kick return, punt return.
Yep, I agree. They brought Gunner in more for his he didn't fumble much and he's solid but unspectacular. And he wasn't even that last year. He was the opposite.
He wasn't jack shit, Dave. That's what he was. He wasn't jack shit. Like, he was a liability last year. This guy's a Pro Bowler. Blah blah blah. Yeah, no, did not look like it at all. He was a liability, and you hear that. Well, he's a football player. I don't really give a shit. Like, if he's not doing good, then I don't care. Like, don't care.
I mean, when your best contribution is being, a blocker for the run game, and you're only his size as a wide receiver, that's not what you're looking for. Let's switch gears a little bit. I don't know if you saw this, the JT O'Sullivan thing. I actually watch him a lot. His quarterback school on YouTube. It's really interesting, really smart guy. But man, and he doesn't almost ever criticize coaches or teams. Like, he'll criticize the quarterback if the quarterback's not doing well, but very rarely does he go after. But the first 2 minutes of this thing was like scathing on what the Steelers run. Did you see it? Did you actually see the?
No.
He runs the first two plays, and he just says that the Steelers ran in the first preseason game. I should say that. He says, just watch this and try to figure out why I'm so angry. And he plays the two plays, doesn't say a word through the whole two plays. Then he comes in, another moment of silence, and he goes, "You're running Hank and spacing." And I don't want to get too far into the weeds on this terminology, but it's two very basic offensive plays, very basic. And you're running Hank and spacing in the NFL. And he goes on to say, I don't think I could function in this system as a quarterback. I don't think I could function in this system. He says, quote, it's like the Steelers are putting up a middle finger to modern passing football. He jumped out of his shoes to just kill the Steelers. It makes me nervous. Guys like that who actually see football in a different way that we see it.
Yeah.
Does this explain why they struggle so much? That's basically what I'm getting into. Are they that basic? Are they that simple? Are they that easy? We heard it a million times last season. Oh, we knew what the Steelers were doing. We knew what their offense was doing, blah, blah, blah. This is
I think they are. I think they really are, dude. Like, I hate to say it, but yeah. All you can do is I don't know, have hopes and dreams that they throw in some more wrinkles. I mean, you've heard the guys that play the game make the comments. This is Saturday football. So when you hear them say that, you're like, well, shit, and all you can do is hope that they throw more like trick stuff in there or just throw different formations of stuff. I really hope they mix it up. And you see a guy look at this and go, this is the problem. Look how basic this is. That's bad. That's real bad. And like he said, are they doing it on purpose? Again, are they going to zig? Everyone zag and all this other stuff. Maybe it works. I don't know. We'll see. But
that's what he kind of said too. He said maybe it works for them. He said, like, the Hank concept is a very basic one. Most teams use, but the Steelers use it a lot.
Yeah.
Like, other teams use it as a one-off or a couple of times a game. He said Steelers use it a lot. It's very basic. I mean, he was almost to the point of disgusted by watching.
Yeah. Well, last year the Steelers drowned in it. Like, they stayed in the basic stuff a lot. And the excuse was it's for Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
Like, it's just funny to me. It's like, well, wait a second. Mitch Trubisky was the starting quarterback to start the season. So
yeah. And all we heard was Kenny Pickett's biggest strength was he's an experienced guy that was ready to go and blah, blah, blah. You don't have to dumb it down for him. He's not like he's like some running quarterback that's coming into the league and didn't throw many passes. He did go on to praise Kenny Pickett. He really,
that's good.
Kind of gushed over him on a couple throws, especially the touchdown one. When he breaks it down, you got to watch it. It's really something. So it's the same. It's like what we've been talking about all along, Dave. We think Kenny Pickett's talented. We think the offense is talented. But is there a ceiling on this team because of Matt Canada and or Mike Tomlin?
Well, the answer is yes, until he proves us wrong. I mean, that's really the answer. I mean, so the answer is yes, because last year, clearly, he was holding them back from the first half of the season, forbidding to throw it down the middle. Remember, he would not throw it down the middle. Would not throw it deep. It was just constantly, stack the box, stop the run, and you'll be good to go, really. And that was it. Box out the wide receivers to the sidelines, and you're good. You're golden. And
that makes it so much tougher on Kenny because
it does.
If you're running basic concepts that every DB learned in high school, and they know it's coming, and now he's got to succeed despite that. I don't know, man. I just hope. Again, I've watched JT O'Sullivan a lot, especially for the college guy. He does college breakdowns, so you're trying to get a feel for guys coming out of college, and so he knows his stuff. I mean, he wasn't a very good quarterback in the pros, and I know a lot of people want to point to that. But he spent like 12 years in the league. He was on like 15 teams.
Right.
He's a classic backup quarterback, clipboard holder.
But my thing is that you could not be, Patrick Mahomes out there, but you may have know football. Like, you may know the game. You could be maybe a really great coach, but you weren't a great player. Like, come on. That really, you can look at that. But to the people that are using that against them, are you really defending Matt Canada? Like, is that what you're doing?
Well, that's when the black and gold sunglasses come out. And,
hey, let me do the Hulk Hogan here. I want to hear you defend Matt Canada. Like, really?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Wow.
But they do because, Steelers first. It's like we can make fun of Matt Canada, but nobody else can. Right. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Right? Did you see what Ryan Clark said about George Pickens? That got people going too.
Yeah, I was. Wow. I don't.
More talented than Justin Jefferson, in case you didn't hear. More physically gifted, maybe would have been a better way to put it. Maybe better athlete. Maybe.
But see, my problem is, man, is that God, I hate when we say this stuff and the guy hasn't done it yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not taking anything from George Pickens. That kid looks like he's going to be a really good wide receiver. But man, see, I like Ron Clark. I really do. I think, but at the same time, this is to get attention. That's what I think.
was going to bring that up.
Yeah,
he likes to use the Steelers to get himself attention.
That's what that is. He's trying to get attention. And boy, he did it. I mean, when you make those kind of comments, whoo, like,
I mean, Dave, Jesus Christ. Justin Jefferson's top 3 in the league. I've heard a lot of people say he's the best receiver in the league.
Well, I just like, and that's great. But me personally, the things that I'm liking, that I'm seeing, is that now a lot of these ESPN guys, or, all these other different sportscasters that were shitting on the Steelers, they're now starting to change their tune a little bit. I think it was Dan Orlovsky that said, "Hey, I want to apologize to the Steelers. Like, you know what? I changed my mind. Like, they look like they might be legit."
Steelers starting to get some pub.
Yeah.
Sure. We talked about it a little bit on the last pod. People are starting to notice all of a sudden,
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you didn't really give them a shot, and it took one preseason game. And that's the other part too, the overacting to the preseason game. I try not to do it, but I do. But yeah, we did just it. Like, it's so hilarious how now the mainstream media is like, oh, well, I was wrong. They're looking legit. I see 11 wins. And, oh, really? Is that fact? Just last week, you were like, they'll be lucky to get 8 wins. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's crazy how much attention the Steelers are getting all of a sudden. Maybe it is just that preseason game and all the big plays they made that people are finally waking up to them. Another thing that's getting a lot of steam lately, I don't know if you noticed this, the Warren over Najee Harris buzz is starting. Like, Warren's going to be the starting running back. A lot of people are starting to talk about this now. I saw, God help us, Pony tweeted it, and I got people going. But he's not the only one. He's not the only one. A lot of people
thought
Jaylen Warren's more talented.
Yeah,
I should say a lot of people in Pittsburgh. I don't think outside of Pittsburgh people are saying that, but Pittsburgh media, this is gaining some steam.
No, well, it can gain steam all at once. It ain't happening.
Guys, you don't think there's any chance? Not week 1. Look, he said by Halloween.
Najee Harris was a first-round draft pick.
I know where you're going with this. You're not wrong.
Okay, I'll put things in perspective. Okay, we are in year 3 or 4 of Kendrick Green. This guy is still around when he belongs working at Aldi's. Okay, this is a first-round draft pick you're talking about. They're not gonna have him be the backup to a guy they signed off the street last year. Now, mind you, it's a diamond in the rough. They got lucky as shit, but it ain't happening. It ain't happening.
I'm going to disagree with you a little bit. I do agree with your long-standing theory that they protect their draft picks and they don't want to look bad. I 100% agree with that. But I think it's almost to the point now where it's too obvious. And I know I got killed a lot for being too hard on Najee Harris, but I mean, what do your eyes tell you? I mean, when you watch these two guys.
But Najee admitted he was injured really bad last year. Yeah, he wasn't right.
He was. Well, of course, you could see it. But the second half of the season, a different guy.
So, I mean, when he was healthy, he was back to running guys over, hopping over people. He looked legit. Now, mind you, he's not going to be your speed guy. He's not going to be King Henry, as they call him, right? He's not going to be him.
No, he's not that guy.
But, and hopefully, maybe the Steelers thought that's what they were going to get. But it didn't happen. So, but he's still a guy that, like, man, dude, he can grind for those extra 5 yards if you need it. Like, to me, he's like your running back version of Juju Smith-Schuster. The after the first year, after his rookie year, He ain't
Yeah.
gonna burn a guy anymore, but he will grind and go all out, and he will get every inch
Yeah,
he can for you to get that. And to me, that's what Najee Harris is.
You
And
definitely
that's
get maximum
why,
effort out of him. There's nobody questions his effort
right?
or his toughness.
So
Not me, not anybody.
to me, that's a guy that I want, and I want him playing. And I'm perfectly fine with him and Warren both getting time out there. Split them up, fine. Go
Yeah,
run back by committee. I don't care. That's fine.
Yeah.
I just to make him be the backup to Warren, I just no.
Yeah, I don't think anybody thinks like. I think most people think right now that it's a tandem, but Najee's the main back, and I think what people are saying is it's still going to be a tandem, but Jalen Warren's going to be the main back. And
well, what I love
eventually.
is that what I love is personally they're different running backs. One
They make a good tandem.
One is a ground and pound guy in Najee, right? Mostly, right? A
Yeah.
little more finesse, but he's still more ground pound. It's Jalen Warren is more your elusive running back. Like you can see how he's more elusive, a little quicker. But I like that. I like how they're just a little bit different because that's what you want. You want that change of pace back. But then the caveat to that is then, in my opinion, you got McFarland, who's your home run hitter if he gets in space. That's why, like, when I hear these things of they're going to, McFarland's probably not going to make the team. I'm like, you stupid? Because you saw what he can do. If he does it again this game, like, what are we doing here? Now, mind you, that whatever that kid's name is, they just brought in Xavier Valladay. Now, mind you, if that kid is, I don't know, the same universe as McFarland, the same kind of style of running back, okay, and the guy can play special teams, now McFarland's in trouble. But anyways, the whole thing with Najee and Warren. Either way, you're talking about two different running backs, both that are good, right? I'm not going to say either one's great, but they're both really good, and they're both two different styles. That's why I don't think you're going to see this. One's the starter, one's the backup. It ain't happening. It's going to be RBC, running back by committee, and that's how we're going to see this roll out.
Yeah, some part of me still thinks that. I don't know. We'll see. I don't want my bias because I hated the draft pick. I don't want it to overshadow what reality is. Najee's a good back. I don't deny it. He brings certain things to the table. But I think Jalen Warren does everything he does, only better. He's a better pass protector. He's got more speed. He's more elusive in the open field, but he can still break tackles and grind through, go up the middle. He's everything Najee is, and a little better, I think, with speed and elusive.
It's some things, yes. I haven't really seen him literally leap over people like Najee has. I haven't seen him carry three people on his back to get to that extra yard. So until I see that, then I'll say, okay, he's better than Najee at everything. But until I see that, no, I still think that there's a difference between the two. And I think that's why it's important to have it be a run back by committee. And plus it keeps each other fresh.
I definitely don't want to see one guy take all of that.
I'm just glad to see Tomlin finally gave into this.
Yeah.
Because think about that. That's the other thing. This whole almost the whole league, not everyone, but almost the whole league is run back by committee. But the Steelers have not wanted to be that at all.
What Tomlin did to Najee in his first year is borderline criminal. I mean, he ran the wheels off the guy.
Correct.
And you can shit on Najee all you want, but he was abused that first season. Like, I think 300 and something touches. Yeah, he was basically the main receiver, the only running back. It's pretty nuts.
So, and I don't agree with that. And finally, now to Jalen Warren's credit and Tom, it took Jalen Warren to change Tomlin's mind on this. He was like, okay, I am seeing the benefits of this. And then Najee was even okay with it. I think maybe at first he kind of wasn't, but then even Najee was like, hey, I actually like this because I'm fresh. I'm not as tired. And you see what it can do. You just have to have that viable other guy to pull it off. And to Steelers' credit, they have it now. So, but no, dude, I'm sorry. I don't agree with it. I don't think that Jalen Warren will be RB1 and Harris will be RB2. I don't see that. It's running back by committee.
Yeah. I mean,
and that's it.
If it does happen, we'll have to give credit to the recently retired Tony Serino. I think he was the first to bring it up on our podcast, in June or May. So he was on that. We'll keep an eye on it. I was thinking today, if the Steelers are going to add a player when cut downs happen, they need to add a player. What position do you think is the most in need? Like, say, cut down. Yeah, as we speak. I'm thinking backup center's got to be up there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, we don't have to bring up Kendrick Green. We know how bad Kendrick Green is. But Ryan McCollum hasn't been good either.
No.
And that was the guy they signed. He thought, he was on the team all last year too. Herbig can do it, I guess, but he's the main backup guard. So I don't know if he
Well, So has there been an update on Nate Herbig? Because he hurt his shoulder. Is he all right?
Yeah, he's not playing in this game. They think he's all right, but he's not playing in the game.
See, to me, that's kind of where I'm at too. Then, because he's supposed to be one of your guys that can play center, right?
Yeah.
So there's no fucking way I'm gonna leave Widow for Kendrick Green to be the guy.
No, Kendrick Green cannot. No. So I think a backup center it might happen.
Yeah.
Obviously, slot corner is still not. I still don't feel comfortable at slot corner. I know Patrick Peterson's probably going to do it on passing downs and blah blah blah. I don't know.
Well, but you're still just like with Najee, man. You're just always negative on Patrick Peterson too.
No, I'm not. If he's just the starting outside corner, I'm fine. I'm not going to do cartwheels over it, but I'm fine. But now you're going to move him around. The guy's never played. He's 34. He's never played slot corner in his life. Now you're going to stop moving that. I don't love that idea. I don't.
Well, I think as long as he's comfortable there, and if he can be serviceable there, then. But they're going to have to mix it up, Dave, going off of whatever offense they're going to play. Yeah. I mean. I think that's what the league is going to, and that's why the Steelers got so many moving pieces now on defense. You got Keanu Neal that can play different positions. Now Patrick Peterson. I think that's what they're doing. They're getting a lot of hybrid guys that can move all over the place. Look at Leal. I'm sorry. Look at Leal. Yeah. He can go edge or D line. Hell, they even got Loudermilk taking snaps at edge. I mean, they're just really moving a lot of pieces around to see what they can do.
The pessimist in me thinks this could bite them in the ass. Because instead of focusing on the position they're playing, they're moving around.
It could.
And we know this. We know the struggles the Steelers have in communication on defense sometimes.
Yes.
And now to have these guys moving around, I think you're asking for a little bit of trouble. But we'll see. I'm willing to give it a shot. And we'll see what happens.
You'll get a good look tomorrow. You'll get a good look.
Yeah. Because they're going up against a good offense.
Yeah. And, so we'll see but I still expect there to be trouble anyways, because you got to remember, Minka hasn't been around much.
Yeah. All the linebackers.
Kazi, none of those safeties have been around much. And that safety and CB communication, like you're saying, is extremely important. So and
actually, Tomlin brought that up in his press conference. The first thing he said was
we didn't even bring it up, JPJ. I mean, he hasn't played a game yet either. That's another one that we didn't even touch on that's also important in this game that can gain from playing here is JPJ. Joey Porter Jr., he needs as much experience as possible. We got to get him out there. So I'm glad it, like I said, I kind of hinted one of our last episodes. I almost, I kind of felt like they kind of protected him a little bit after he struggled in practice.
Yeah.
Like they had that last minute injury or whatever. And I'm not trying to be, an asshole here. I'm just saying that was kind of weird to me that literally the next practice he was there in pads. It was like, now come on, what was that? So just speculating. I have no idea, but kind of weird. So, I want to see him out there. I want to see him starting. I want to see him get as many reps as possible. If he doesn't start, then I want to see that kid in the second quarter, the third quarter. I want to see that kid get a lot of kind of like with Broderick Jones. Broderick Jones played a shit ton of snaps last game. Now I want to see JPJ do that.
Probably will. They'll probably get worse. push because they're a little thin at
And
anyway.
And if I would love to see him versus their top wide receivers compared to their second string, like let's see him face both levels and then see how he does. If he struggles with one but does really good against the other, either or, vice versa. I want to see that because just to see what he has. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because the key, if they're going to use Patrick Peterson as a slot once in a while, then Joey Porter Jr. has to be a starting corner.
Right.
Well, it has to be a starting caliber corner.
And look, I'm not expecting the kid to go out there and be Ike Taylor right off the bat. However, I do want to see him versus certain levels of wide receivers out there.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of positions I think they might add before we jump on to our next topic. Wide receiver, I think I talked about this a little bit last week. They're 4 deep, 4 solid. Yeah, 4 solid. And then it's Gunner, and then it's Miles Boykin. Hakeem Butler, I've already given up on. R.I.P.
Damn, you already gave up on Butler.
Yeah,
I got him on my list of guys that
he's definitely, when we get to our list, he's definitely one of them. But I think they might bring somebody in. I think they might. It's just...
we had this talk last episode. I'm going to have it with you again, okay? They're not going to have 6 fucking Pro Bowl wide receivers. It's not going to happen.
It's 4, and then the drop-off is like falling off the cliff.
It's Dave, every team is going to have
usually you got a
3
young guy
or 4. You're crazy.
Man, I'm just telling you. Miles Boykin's playing significant snaps this year. We're all in trouble.
Oh, yeah. But
I mean,
dude, they hit on, I'm not going to say.
No, I'm not. The top 4 are great. It's DJ, Pickens, Austin, and then the guy they signed for the Rams. I'm blanking right now. Those 4 guys are solid.
Yeah.
Robinson. After that, man, I don't like Gunner. Miles Boykin special teams. Fine. Leave him there. Don't use him on offense. And then it's, like I said, Hakeem Butler.
Well, that's why the 5th guy is going to be Olszewski.
Yeah, we've talked about it before. Probably is going to be Gunner.
5th guy is going to be Olszewski, and then that 6th one's open for whoever. Well, probably Miles Boykin. Yeah, absolutely, because he's special teams.
I think that's the reason they went after Butler in the first place. Is they felt like, well, we need one more guy just for a little depth that can do something.
Yeah, I think that Olszewski or Boykin were going to be on the outside. Yeah. If Butler ended up being something.
Yeah.
So, that can still happen. Your boy can still maybe go off this game, maybe go off next game. Olszewski does nothing, but Miles Boykin does legit shit on special teams, and maybe Olszewski gets a boot. You don't know. But these 2 games will decide that. They really will. And if I think if Butler can go off, or any of these other wide receivers, Cody White or any of those guys, if they
Cody White too, but
because Cody White has done good in practice, he's done
stuck around the team.
He looked
all last year, and
he looked bad at that game last week. So, but look, dude, if any of those guys go off one game, that's like that trash they were talking about with Calvin Austin III might not even make the team. That was so stupid. Like
that was who was that?
Hawthorne.
Yeah, Hawthorne.
And look, let me say this about Joe. He's not a bad guy. Like usually he's good, but to say that Calvin Austin III was didn't have a roster spot, wasn't gonna have, it's like, dude.
What do you think he was thinking when he watched the game?
he's in training camp burning guys left and right. Idiot. What are you talking about?
Yeah, well.
So
the only way he's not making the team is period. Full stop.
Right.
The only way he's not making the team. Anything else is just ridiculous.
Dude, yeah, he's the 3. Robinson's like the 4th guy, right? I put Austin ahead of him because of what Austin can do right now. But Robinson's like going to be another like Juju. I hate to bring Juju again, but that's basically what he's going to be.
He's definitely doing the Juju.
Your savvy vet, they'll find a way to get open for that on that 3rd and 7 or something. That's what he is. Anyways, but yeah, so I'm not stressing over the 5th and 6th wide receivers there. I'm just not. You're not going to get.
I guess I am, but I shouldn't be. I probably shouldn't be. One last guy I'm keeping my eye on. Let's keep an eye on this. I'm going to make a little prediction here on our first YouTube live stream ever. Keep an eye on Cordero Patterson. He's a running back, returns kicks and punts, and can play wide receiver. He's third on the depth chart in Atlanta right now. They drafted Bijan Robinson in the first round.
I was about to say, I'm like, this guy's with Atlanta right now, isn't he? Like, what are you?
Yeah, but he's going to get cut. He's going to get.
You think
cut.
so?
He's making $5 million a season. He's the third string running back. He's in his 30s. Keep an eye on him though, because he could do the third running back.
Okay.
He's one of the best returners in the league still. Oh, he was last year. Keep an eye. Keep that name in the back of your head.
He actually wasn't too shabby as a running back either. He did
He's a talented
good.
dude.
Yeah,
he's a talented guy. He's like Anthony McFarland with special teams, and he's probably a better running back. He's definitely a better running back than Anthony McFarland.
So then that leads me to this next question. Then what if we already have him in Anthony McFarland? Why would?
Yeah, he's not the returner that Cordero Patterson is. That would be his biggest attraction is the return game.
Yeah,
that's the big thing. He'd be like a plus return guy, which they need.
Yeah.
All right, Dave and I talked about coming up with a list. Which players on the Steelers roster have the most to gain Saturday night against the Buffalo Bills? Guys that are maybe bubble guys or fighting for a starting position. Dave, why don't you go first?
Well, I mean, we kind of hinted on a lot of these guys already. But
we'll just
so a guy that's interesting to me that the Steelers are now starting to put at center is Spencer Anderson.
Yeah.
My guy went from being a bubble guy to you're going to be practice squad guy at best to now they're like, can you play center? Because they look over Kendrick and go, that guy can't. So we're going to see if you can. So that's a guy to me that like, I think that's an interesting guy.
That's
to see
the best
if he gets
example of this topic. If he plays center and he plays well, he could be getting himself a roster spot.
Yeah,
absolutely, 100%.
I'll bet you that guy is at home taking like 1,000 snaps a night.
He should be. If he's not, he should be
practicing this to make sure he is, without a shadow of doubt, ready to be set. Because you want to talk about a easy window to making the roster. The stand, like the whole standard is the standard bullshit. Because after Mason Cole, if Herbig's not healthy, it is a steep drop off. So I don't know, dude. Like for me, if I'm Spencer Anderson, I know I got a shot.
Good example of what I was thinking about for this topic. One of my guys is Montravius Adams.
Yep, I have him on my list.
This is a very, very deep defensive line, and I was reading Nick Farbar's piece today, and he's like he hasn't shown out. He's been solid, but just kind of he needs to make some plays in this game. He needs to make some plays and show out, because he might be the odd man left out in this especially Loudermilk now moving around. Maybe that gets him a roster spot.
Dude, with Armon Watts now getting reps at nose tackle.
Yeah, that too.
Ooh, I like I said,
Hoko is so good at it, like especially against the run.
And Keanu Ben, he's making the team. So I mean, dude, because like I got to be honest, I underestimated Fahoku. I just thought he was depth. I didn't think he'd be like a guy that legit like. To me, it's almost like Tyson Alualu. Like when they brought him in, I was like, okay, depth guy. He always struggled. He was, former first round pick or whatever it was. And then you're like, whoa, okay, my guy can, handle stopping the run before he got hurt. So it's like, okay, so you've got Keanu Ben, you've got Fahoku. Whoo, Montavious Adams better do something here because as soon as I saw that on Twitter, that Armon Watts was now getting plugged in at nose tackle, and I think they said doing well. Oh man, like, yeah. So this is huge for Montavious Adams. $2 million for a guy that could be 8th, 9th on your depth chart. Yeah, he's gone. They'll cut that. They're gonna pay him that money.
Yep, agreed. Who's your next
guy? Next one for me. Well, so speaking of Kendrick Green, my man better beg them to put him in at fullback.
Yeah, right.
He better. He's taking reps on the jugs machines after practices. He's running people over whenever he gets the ball thrown to him and he's in space and somebody tries to tackle him. He looks the part. Like he does look like he could be, a usable fullback possibly. Now, mind you, looks like it. But the only way for Kendrick Green to prove this is to actually get put in at fullback and see what he does. If he goes out there and actually does really well, then he's giving himself wiggle room. You know what I'm saying? He's giving himself life because they can be like, hey, we've got a depth offensive lineman that can play fullback. He's giving himself more life to maybe make the 53. Because right now, he wouldn't make the 90. He shouldn't make. He wouldn't make a 200 as a center.
Dave. Him, all he had to do to make this team is not look embarrassing last week. All he had to do was be slightly below average, and he would have made this team because he's the only true backup center on the team, and he couldn't do it. So yeah, you're right. He's got to ball out at fullback if they give him a chance, which we don't even know if they will or not. But he's still got to come back and play some decent center. Yeah, because if he's just a fullback, they're not keeping him on the roster.
Right.
He's got to show that he can be at least competent. You can't end up in the backfield at the quarterback's feet. You can't give a bad snap and take a penalty. He's got to clean that stuff up. I just don't know. That guy just. My next guy is Luke Barku. I've seen a lot of negative stuff about James Pierre the last week and a half. How he's struggling in camp.
He struggled that game. Like he didn't.
He struggled that game.
Yeah, it was bad.
I think his job's up for grabs if somebody.
I think it is too.
Luke Barku's the guy that could possibly give him a run for his money. I mean, that fourth cornerback spot is wide open.
Yep. No, I agree. Another one I'm looking at. Well, I have a couple. One offense. I'll go with this one first. Tanner Morgan. Like my guy looked really bad.
I don't even know if he plays in this game.
And he might not. Like he might have sealed his fate already. But if he gets his chance, if he has any hope of one trying to, well, I'll get to that. But if he has any hope of one giving them any thought to cutting Mason to save money and keep him as their third, I know, I get it. Don't get me wrong, I get it.
He needs to do a lot better. Right.
If he has any hope of that, right, he better play really good. If he has any hope of making a practice squad, he better show something, or he ain't gonna have anything. Like they're gonna cut him, and I don't think any team's gonna sign him, to be honest, because that was really bad. He looked scared out there last game. He looked overwhelmed. It was bad. Mason looked good. Like compared to him, Mason actually looked good.
Mason had that deep ball, right? In fairness to him, someone made the point. I might have been Alex Cazora. He played more snaps in that game than he has all of training camp. Yeah, like took more snaps in that game than he did in all of training. That's a little bit on Tomlin. You're gonna let that guy play almost 2 full quarters, and the guy hasn't practiced hardly at all, and you're leaving him exposed. Yeah, I mean, you put him in for a series, let him get his feet wet, give him a few more snaps, and I don't think you leave him out there for a half. I mean, I don't know what the story behind that was.
Yeah, I don't either. So I think they're protecting. I think they're just protecting Mason and Trubisky.
What are you protecting Mason?
Because not me, not a lot of Steelers Nation here, but they believe that they have a 1 alpha and a 1 Bravo. I really think they think that. I look. I know that's. I'm not saying that. I'm saying they think that.
I know.
They think that both Trubisky and Mason Rudolph are capable quarterbacks in this league. That if something happened to Kenny, they could fill in and they would be okay.
Yeah. Mitch, maybe, but Mason. I'm not a Mason guy.
I'm not either. They might be.
They have a thing for Mason for some reason.
Yeah. So I just honestly think that because both guys know the system, they know these, and that's important to them. They've been in the system.
That goes back to your theory too. Remember, they said this guy was a first-round caliber quarterback when they drafted him.
Yes.
And they were wrong. I mean, they were
really wrong. Yeah.
So they've kept him around, and even though he left, they brought him back. Granted, it was just on a minimum contract, but still, you're right. They think there's something there when the rest of us don't. My next guy is Presley Harvin. Dave, if he punts well in this game, he could pretty much take a starting job, right? This is his job to win tomorrow night.
Yeah, Man did not do well. So
a couple good punts and the job is hit. He can sit back and put his feet up the rest of the camp.
As long as he's consistent, he hasn't got to kick it, 80 effing yards. But if he's not,
exactly.
as long as he's consistent what he's doing and he's not shanking them really bad, then he'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? As long as he doesn't do that, he'll be good.
Yeah, basically just don't embarrass yourself like Kendrick Green did last week, and the job's yours.
Right.
Brady Man hasn't done anything, like you said, to take that job away from him. You got any more before we?
I do actually. Two, because they're intertwined. Quincy Roach and David Perales.
Yeah.
Look, they brought Quincy Roach back. They drafted him. Remember, he got cut. The Giants scooped him up. Then they let him go. The Steelers got him back. He looked horrible last year for us. Remember, in preseason, he did not look good at all. Or was it real games? I can't remember. But here's the thing: that linebacker core, when you got extra guys like Leal and you got Loudermilk that now are playing edge, that threatens the Quincy Roaches and the David Perales. David Perales had a good college career out of was it San Diego State? It was out in California.
School. It was a smaller school. It might have been San Diego State.
Yeah, but again, another guy where, hey, look, you're on the outside looking in. You better do something. Same thing, Quincy Roach, same thing to him. You better do something here if you want to get any attention that maybe, hey, you should be kept around to have a shot at getting the 53. So those two guys at edge, they better do something because, you've already got, Herbig, Nick Herbig, and looking legit already. We haven't even brought him up. That guy's been looked really good too. And then
I think he put the nail in that coffin. Last week.
Right. I think Marcus Golden's supposed to be number 3 anyway, so he's making the roster. So you start talking about roster spots, man. When you've got D linemen or inside linebackers or whatever that can play edge too, you're in trouble. You better do something. You better stay healthy. And you better make an impact on these games, especially when you're facing second, third, and fourth string camp fodder guys. You better do something, or you're going to be in trouble.
One of those guys that needs a 2-sack game to make this team, something like
that,
or a sack and a pick, or something like that. It's the only way they're making the team. The way Nick Herbig played last week.
Nick Herbig picked on backup players last week.
Yeah,
picked on them. And that's what you should be doing. If you're a good rookie, you should be picking on second and third string players.
Yep. Agreed. I put Anthony McFarland on here because we've talked about it, so I won't go too deep. He needs a good kick return. Like I talked about earlier. He needs to just to show that he can do something besides just be the third string running back.
Oh, that's what you just reminded me. Bird. That's another guy that
I don't think he's gonna get to play today.
He might not.
He might have to wait till the third game, and then he's going to have to. In his defense, the punts to him there wasn't really a returnable punt, so he didn't really get a good chance to show anything. But I don't think he plays Saturday. I think they're going to go Austin, and maybe in the fourth quarter they'll give him 1 or 2 returns. But
I'll give Berg. I'll tell you what. I'll give Berg credit though. He had a really nice fake catch on one of those punts. It really fakes out. He did do that. The Bucks running down the field.
Those are little things that you need to do,
Well, it almost freaked me out. I was like, did this idiot lose it in the lights? Like, what the hell happened? And I saw it bounce behind him. And, you could tell he was just like, fooled you. It was like, oh, nice fake. I really fooled the Buccaneers running down the field. I was like, damn. But yeah, no, Bird's just another one that I think of, I'm trying to think of like bubble guys, and man, whew. What about another one's Kenny Washington, right? Did good in camp.
Kenny Robinson.
I'm sorry, Robinson. My bad. He's another one. He did good in camp. Couple picks, filled in for all the other safeties. He needs to he needs to come out too and maybe do something.
Because you think the 3 safeties that are locks are KZ, Minka, obviously, and
Keanu Neal.
Keanu Neal. So now the fourth one is kind of up for grabs. I mean, yeah, I guess he's got a shot, right? He's got a shot for the fourth safety job. I don't know. You'd like to see it. Again, it's one of those guys who's got to play good on special teams. Killebrew is the safety I was trying to think of. He's probably the fourth guy because he plays special teams.
Right.
Then Elijah Riley. What is Elijah Riley? He's another guy that needs a big game. You should bring him.
Well, I thought he did good last game. And I think they like
continue to do that. Yeah.
And if he continues just to do that, I mean, he don't got to make no splash plays, but I mean, what I saw of the physicality he brought was really good. So I think if he just continues to do that, I think he'll make the team. I think they really like him.
All those guys in the fringe of the secondary, battling for the fourth corner and the fourth safety spots. That's still kind of wide open. Somebody can really put themselves ahead of the race if they do well against the Bills on Saturday night. It'll be fun to watch.
Yeah.
You got anybody else?
I think that's about it, dude. Like I don't.
Yeah, this is gonna be a fun game to watch. You're gonna be there live. That's awesome. I wish I could be there.
Yeah, I'm stoked. Like I told you, I'll be up at my son's got a tournament up at Slippery Rock baseball doubleheader, and then from there I'll be taking off and driving back down towards Acshore. So I'll be flying from there to there. So it's gonna be a busy day. I'll be all over the place. But yeah, no, I'll hopefully I'll get there before the game actually starts. But yeah, I can't wait.
Awesome. All right, you can follow me on Twitter at SteelersSanct16. Follow us on YouTube at Steelers Sanctuary. Email the show at DAVER@SteelersSanctuary.com. Dave, give me your stuff and let's get out of here.
You can find me at M_Corb on Twitter. I'm on TikTok, Steelers Sanctuary Podcast, or at Steel Sanct Pod. Also, I got the Hodgepodge Not This Podcast. I'll be doing a new one of those soon for the Pirates. That's really all I got.
All right. Thanks to all of you that watch us on YouTube. We'll be doing this again for sure. We knocked the kinks out. We did our ready, aim, fire thing. And next time will be smoother for sure. Hopefully. And as always,